Hello, this is Nasser Al-Nuaimi, and I'm presenting my CEE 300 video reflection. So for the final reflection, I wanted to go over what was done for the technical report number 1, which involved basically looking at 4 alternative fuel type vehicles and comparing their relative net present value as the major metric as a means of comparison. So for the 4 alternative fuel options that we looked at included a conventional internal combustion engine, in which case we looked at 2017 Toyota Camry. Then we looked at a full electric option, which involved a 2017 Nissan Leaf, a gas electric hybrid, which we looked at a 2017 VW hybrid Jetta, and then a natural gas option, in which we looked at a 2017 Honda Clarity. And our hypothesis coming into the report was that the full electric option was going to give the highest net present value just because of the direction of where the automotive industry is going and the kind of the claims of what electric can offer over normal gas engines. So what does the net present value type of analysis kind of tell us? Well, it tells us if you have specific streams of cash flows presented in the future, what are they worth in today's dollars? So you kind of look at what the initial cost is versus what the total future values based on cash flows in and cash flows out, and you try to see, you look at the net value of all of this and you compare. If it's positive, then it's a good investment. If it's negative, that means it's actually going to be worth less in future dollar values. So the kind of questions that get answered are, should we invest in this project? Among multiple different projects, which one's the best one to get involved in? And one of the biggest comparisons that's made is with the discount rate involved with the savings from the bank. If you were to just invest that value, what would your returns be? So a general strategy includes adding the present values of inflows and then subtracting the outflows on an annual basis. And the kind of the formula that's used here is this net present value formula. It kind of looks like a geometric series if your discount rates and time rates and your inflow rates end up being the same every time. But in this case, you'll have different inflow rates. You kind of have to explicitly do singular calculations on every annual basis. So some of the key assumptions that we made included a discount rate of 1%, 66,850 miles traveled on an annual basis, $2.10 a mile, which totals to about $140,038.50 every year. The driver salaries are about $34,970, and the cost of gas is $3.12. Some of these figures were taken out of literature, and we just kind of did a little bit of estimation as well, where we levelized kind of the costs and everything across the entire nation. So in the first case, we looked at Camry, and we averaged the city and highway miles per gallon to about 33.3, and we found that the annual cost would be about $6,200. So by doing a net present value scheduling, where we looked at the various costs, including fuel and maintenance, and these costs were kind of taken also from literature, and we also looked at the salary, as far as the other costs to the driver, and then the revenue as the inflow. We looked at the totals for every year, and we come up with a net present value of $464,827. In the case of the electric car, we looked at what the general cost per mile was for electric vehicles. That is the cost to charge a battery per mile driven, especially for the Leaf. So it came out to about $3,000 of an annual basis. And after levelizing all of the different costs across every year and looking at the revenues and subtracting those accordingly, we found a net present value with a discount rate of 1% of about $445,000. We did the same exact kind of analysis for the Jetta, and we did the same analysis for the natural gas with the Honda Clarity. And for in each case, maintenance costs and fuel costs, those were all kind of based on what was available in the literature, what was available online, what others were reporting. And so for the natural gas cost, it came out to about $464,000. So here we put all the figures together, and we see that the hybrid VW Jetta actually produced the highest net present value. We also look at a little bit of sensitivity analysis to see how the cost of gas would change what the net present value was in every case. And in every case, it turned out that the hybrid had the highest net present value. And the same with the discount rate. We looked at changing the discount rate anywhere between 0.02% to 15%. In every case, it seemed like the hybrid car always came out on top in terms of net present value. So the hybrid car seems to produce the highest net present value across all alternative fuel categories. And why this might be is because the current state of the technology right now, compared to costs of replacing motor brushes and replacing batteries, the hybrid kind of absorbs all of those costs together, but also has the most benefit because it's kind of splitting the amount of wear between two different power sources, the engine and the electric motor. So in that case, the hybrid is actually producing the highest amount of value across the 5 years. So, our initial hypothesis was kind of not what we expected it to be. Now, some of the kind of disclaimers about, what wasn't considered in our analysis was that, we didn't look at every single car in every category. For example, the amount of miles per gallon in a Honda Civic is going to be a lot different from a Toyota Camry, and the same goes with a Tesla. The initial cost of a Tesla is going to be different from a Nissan Leaf. As far as maintenance costs, those were average values, and then gas prices, electricity prices, they're all subject to market fluctuations. So tomorrow, the cost of gas may be a lot if the shale market decides it doesn't want to be involved in the market. Solar might completely take off, and electricity prices might go down by a lot. So that was kind of the extent of our analysis, and we learned a lot just by looking at the current state of technology in alternative fuel vehicles. Thank you for watching.